Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I would like to take a couple of seconds here, a few minutes to just say I'm sorry for being kind of missing. I haven't videotaped in quite some time due to just the busy schedules in life with the children and school and ministry, health, just kind of life in general. But I would like to jump back on the horse, like they say, with a tag question. I was reading some on YouTube and I came across one, questions no one asks, and I saw a few of the ladies had answered. I thought it was kind of fun just to kind of dig in and see how things go for certain people, how people deal with certain things, and just kind of to know each other a little bit better. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would like for you to subscribe. Let's jump right in. Number one, do you go by a nickname? All of our mommies know that the number one nickname is Mommy. But yeah, I have two nicknames that I go by. One is a childhood one that if I get called by this name, I know that you knew me as a little girl, and that's Rosita. It's short. It's a sweet name for little Rosa. So yeah, Rosita. If somebody calls me Rosita, I know that you know me when I was a little girl. So, and the other one that a lot of people call me by is Rosie, which I prefer Rosie. I think it's a little nicer than Rosa or Rosita. Number two, when driving, do you listen to CD, tapes, or radio? I'm sorry, I keep looking down. I wrote the questions on a piece of paper. I preferred radio. And but most of the time, since I'm the one that's taking the children to from appointments, doctors, schools, and etc., I like to just listen to the DVD that's playing. So VeggieTales, I know, is a big thing, and also a CD that we came across that my older children watched was The Miracle Maker, which is a nice claymation movie, and it's really nice. I really like that. And also, but if I'm by myself, radio, most likely radio. My kids don't like if they write it with me because I'm always hitting the scan button, and they're like, "Mommy, please just leave it at one station." But it keeps me, especially, going if I'm tired or whatnot. So, radio. Number three, are you a window person or owl? I haven't flown in a long time, about 33 plus years. And I remember going to Puerto Rico as a little girl. I was about 7 years old. I was sick the whole way down, and I was so sick coming back up. And just thinking about flying really gets me a little anxious. So, but if I have to pick, I'll say the owl because I'm a chicken and I can't be by the window and see the distance between my feet and the ground. So I'll stay in the owl if I have to go to the bathroom. I won't have to disturb no one. I just quick go and come back. So definitely owl if I choose. Number four, how do you relieve stress? Whew, that's a good one. I bake, I cook to relieve a lot of stress. And also I walk a lot to relieve stress. It's a good time to meditate, to pray, kind of just remove yourself from the situation which is causing you the stress. And it's just a nice time you can spend with God, just kind of get a different view on the problem. And usually when you come back, things don't look as bad. And if that doesn't work, girl, there's always chocolate. Chocolate fixes a lot of things. I always tell my husband, give me a piece of chocolate because it's cheaper than bail money. Number five, what was your favorite childhood TV show? Mine was, I have a few actually, but a couple that I really like was The Facts of Life. Oh, I love Tootie and all the girls and Joe, and oh, it was so nice. And also uh, Living Single. I like that show, but that show was when I was a little older, like 14 teenager years. I remember that show coming up, and Martin Lawrence and all that comedies. I really enjoy comedies. But Facts of Life, Different Strokes, shows like that. That was always one of my favorite. Um, Number six, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? This question is so easy because I always wanted to work with children and I wanted to work with elderly. When I was 18, I took my CNA license and I worked in a nursing home for many years since 1993. And also, I worked in daycare. I've done home care. I've done um, childcare from my home. So I've been very privileged and very blessed that I've worked in those two areas in my life, which currently I do home care. I take care of a couple in their home. So that's what I do now. And also, we adopted three little boys. And that's another thing that I always wanted to do was adopt children. Didn't matter, boy or girl. To me, it didn't matter. And we adopted three little boys, twins, and their little brother. It's a sibling group of seven, and we adopted three. So special boys, that's for sure. Number six, sorry, number seven. What is the best prank? This one, I don't know if you call it a prank, but when I was about 23 or so, 24, I called my mother with an accent, and she was so mad at me. She was really, if she could have choked me through the phone, I think she would have. I called and I said, um, "You order por favor? I got to order por favor. You pay por favor. You pay por favor." It was so funny. I got this idea from my husband's cousin, and she was like, "What? You order por favor. You pay me. You pay me. You order por favor. You pay por favor. I need my money. I need my money." She was so mad. She was like, "I didn't pay. I don't pay," because her accent is very heavy. And she's like, "I don't pay. I don't pay. I didn't order no Chinese food. You crazy?" And she hung up the phone. And I called back and I was like, "Excuse me, you order por favor, you pay, you pay." But by this time she was so upset and I couldn't hold it no more. So I started laughing and she picked up. She was like, "Is that you, Rosita?" And I was like, "Oh, por favor." And I couldn't just keep it. It was so funny. She was like, she was bleeping me out. She was so upset. She was like, "When do I see you again next time?" But it was so funny. My dad was with her there and she was like, "Hey, did you order some pork fries? Did some crazy person say here?" It was so funny. It was so funny. She was really mad at me, but she got over it. I'm glad. But yeah, I don't know if it was a prank, but I considered it a prank. So it was funny for sure. Number eight, if you could have dinner with three people, who would it be? Um, that's a good question. One most definitely would be Abraham Lincoln. I really, really like Abe. I read his bio and whatnot is very interesting. The other one would be Martin Luther King. Very interesting fella. And the other one would be my grandmother. My grandmother, my from my dad's side. Um, I grew up next to her. I grew up in New York, and we were living in an apartment building. But she passed away when I was about 7. So I remember a little bit about her, but I've heard many stories about her, and I hear she had so much in life that I would like to get to know her a little bit better. I would like to know more history of my dad's side, just to get information and whatnot, because not many people back then they didn't ask much questions and they didn't share much. So I would like to have dinner with her, and like I said, Martin Luther King and Abe Lincoln, most definitely. Number nine, if you could play an instrument, what would it be? A piano. I would love to play the piano. My children are taking piano and trumpet, and they do extremely well. And I wish maybe that's something I'll do in the future, but not now. But most definitely the piano. It's so soothing and whatnot. If you could hear anyone history, if you could hear anyone in history, whom would you hear? Maya Angelou. I got to hear some of her, but I would love to have been to one of her readings. It was just phenomenal. I could just thinking about it, she's very, very smart lady, very deep lady. So, um, number 11, if you could live in one city the rest of your life, where would it be? Like I said, I'm a New Yorker. I'm from Brooklyn, Bushwick, which I think they call it something now, something different. But most definitely, I would love to go live in the city. My husband's not much of a city person. He likes the kind of rural area, not too much country, but more. He likes to have a little area around him, like it says. Number 12. If you, when you were a kid, what did you dress up for Halloween? I don't celebrate Halloween now, but when I was a little girl, my mom did. And always, always. You would never tell now because I have like this little rats. I call it a rat's tail of hair. But growing up, I had the only locks. I had so much hair, so much hair. And it was always, you could tell it's very frizzy because it's curly and it's frizzy and it was just all over the place. My mom always dressed me up as a witch. And one year, it was so funny. We had very little money. So my mom teased my hair real crazy, and my friend loaned us some green paint, face paint, and I had my two teeth here. They were gone because I was about 7, 8 years old. It was so funny, and I didn't care. And everybody was like, "Oh, you like so original and whatnot." And then my mom had a whole beat up broom, and I was carrying that nasty broom everywhere. Everywhere I went, people stopped us and gave me compliments for my for my Halloween costume. But yeah, I always dressed up as a witch. So I don't know why. Is it in my nature? Am I a witch? I don't know. So yeah, as a witch. Um, Number 13, what languages can you speak? Well, I grew up in a Spanish home, so I speak Spanish. And then when I was a little older, about 5 or 6, when I entered school in kindergarten, I learned a little bit of English. So English and Spanish. Um, Number 14, Cheetos or Fritos? I like them both, even though Fritos smell like feet. I like Fritos. They're nice, salty, crunchy. Especially, I don't know if you've seen some of the recipes on Facebook. You put chili and salad and whatnot. It's very good. Very good. Not the healthiest, but it's very good. Can you swim well? No. We'll leave it at that. DJ band or band at wedding? Cassette and radio. Our wedding was very um, frugal. I was pregnant. My son was born 2 weeks later. We didn't have a very, big wedding. We just had a nice cake. His family, my family. Actually, my mom, my dad, my uncle came. My sister, my brothers couldn't make it. But his family was there. His grandmother and his uncles and his dad and his brothers, they were there. And the only thing I remember was a little radio that my father-in-law brought with the Eddie Santiago tape, and it was between the tape and the radio. So that's what we played. And the pictures, it was in a 110 his grandma took. So we don't have pictures or anything too fancy. I have a couple of pictures from the 110, but they're very blurry, very old picture. But hopefully this year we'll renew our wedding vows, Lord willing, and I would like to do something a little better than that. So yeah, neither. No band or DJ. We just had radio. Do you have kids? Number 17. Yes. I have 3 biological and 3 adopted, all 6 of my babies. Um, Number 18. Do you want kids? No more kids. 6 is enough. So I'm just waiting for my children to have children to get married so I can spoil my grandbabies. But no, I don't want no more children. Now, if only a divine intervention, if God wants us to have more, but I don't want any more. My husband don't want any more. My body doesn't want any more. So no more kids. Are you patient? Hmm. It depends who you ask. I can be patient. However, I lose my cool very easily, which is sad to say with my kids. I don't know what it is. They know the right buttons to push. I don't know, but I pray that the Lord gives me patience and much love to deal with my children. Um, I have my oldest, he'll be 20.